Here's the template that you're going to be using for assignment 2. So this template is something that I use often whenever doing a literature review or starting a systematic review. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a hybrid here for assignment 2 because of course you don't have the full time to do a real full systematic review. That actually is a study that takes months of work. And I just kind of want to give you a little bit of a taste of what that ends up looking like. So this template here, this Excel template, will help you keep track. I'd like you to get 5 different articles that relate to the research question that you posed in discussion 1. Now, please make sure that you go back and look at my comments in the grading because some of you posted research questions that were a little bit more medical as opposed to public health, and I suggested modifications if that was the case, or might have had some factual errors in terms of the relationships. So please make sure to take my comments into account. But using that dependent and independent variable that you mentioned in discussion 1, I'd like you to go and look for some articles. Now use those variable names as your search terms. So whatever you identified as your dependent variable, that's where you want to start. And you also want to add in that independent variable. And if you're lucky, you might actually get 5 studies that have both of those things in there. And if not, you can just do one that has a dependent variable only, because that's your common thread. Your dependent variable is the thing that you're actually really interested in studying, the impact of other things on that. So I want you to go through and find those 5 articles, and you can use the Pollock Library OneSearch. That's a great search tool. You can use Google Scholar. You can use PubMed. All of those things are very good for this. I will say PubMed is a little bit more difficult to search, so you might want to start with the first 2 instead. Make sure you write down the search terms that you used, the authors of the article, the title, and then of course year in the journal. So this just gives you the information about that. And the journal, you do want to make sure that it is a peer-reviewed journal article. These do need to be scientific studies, and make sure that it's not an opinion piece or even an editorial piece from a journal like JAMA, which is of course a very scientific journal, but they do publish quite a bit of opinion pieces or expert opinion, but still you want to make sure it is a scientific study. So include the population that is included in this survey or the study, the geographic area that it covers, and then down here you'll see these other final columns is where you look at the different types of variables that are included. So determinants, those are the independent variables. What are the factors that are determining what your outcome is going to be? What are their independent variables for that study? The outcomes should overlap what it is you're looking at, right? That should be also based on your dependent variable, but they might have also included something that you hadn't thought about, something maybe more specific or a few different outcomes. So make sure you keep track of that. And then in this column, put something about what the relationships were that were found. What were the conclusions of this study? I wrote effect sizes here, and it would be great if you could also include that data if they have odds ratios for logistic regression or linear regressions, or even if they do chi-squares, any of those kind of quantitative impacts. And this would be where you keep track of that. And then here, this full citation column is not as necessary, but I find it useful so that I can just go back and copy and paste whenever I want it. So again, for assignment 2, it's 5 articles based on your discussion 1.